Welcome back to the Full Grip Games Gym Leader Challenge. We've got Dillon Ryan against Theia Blatnick in round 4 of our Gym Leader Challenge League night. Theia on the left playing Colorless birds again, this time a new and improved version from the last video that I posted. Theia recooked it, changed up the lines, and swapped out some of the Pokemon, and it has been performing very well. As you can see, she is back at the top tables, and you can see one of those changes is that Wingull line with the Pelipper, with the Hearsay ability that allows you to search your deck or discard pile for a supporter. But we're starting off the game. We've got Fan Rotom found and its ability used to find up to 3 Pokemon with 100 HP or less. A great start for the Colorless deck. An energy attached to the Rotom, and then a pass over to Dillon. Now on Dillon's side, he is playing the Dark deck, and if you recall, in a recent vlog video, Dillon did attend and said he wouldn't be back unless he top 32'd a regional. However, GLC is just too fun, so he is back. He did day 2 Louisville with Snorlax. Didn't get the top 32, but standard is boring anyways, so GLC is the way to go. We have another convert, and decent start for Dillon. Looks like no supporter for turn, unfortunately. It's just going to go for Hoopa and take the first knockout onto Theia's Wingull. Liepard also prepared for next turn along with the Sableye. Dillon prioritizing those setup Pokemon, maybe hoping to find a supporter soon. Theia has the evolution into that zooming draw Dodrio and promoted the Fletchinder, and it's going to Ultra Ball. It's going to grab the Talonflame, so the rare candy must be in hand. This is the newest Talonflame that has the Arrow Chase attack. It does 110 damage, but that damage is doubled if your opponent's retreat cost is 2 or more. So Theia also has the Gravity Gemstone in this deck list to improve that damage when needed. But a lot of Pokemon in GLC have 2 or more retreat cost already, so being able to do 220 damage for just a single double Colorless energy like we see here into that Hoopa is pretty strong for the Colorless deck. Just a single attachment. Now Dillon has the Liepard evolution. Liepard has that trade ability to discard a card and draw 2. And Dillon is going to use Sableye's Excavate ability to discard that Darkness energy that was on top of the deck. U-turn board down onto the Liepard. It's exactly where you want that tool. Going to stay there for the rest of the game, most likely. It's going to trade away the Marnie to draw 2 and finds an energy. Has supporters in hand. Curious as to why you wouldn't play them. Energy is going to go onto Sableye, prepping for a disable. Muscle Band also comes down because Research is the supportive return. Theia has a small hand. Maybe that's why Dillon was trying to avoid using either Marnie or Iono. Both were available. Theia has a small hand size, but Theia has 2 attackers set up in Rotom and in Talonflame, as well as Dodrio for draw. And Wingull on the bench might have been better to play an Iono or a Marnie, preserve some of those resources, and then use trade and then use Excavate. Then you might not be stuck with attacking for Sableye for turn. You could maybe get in there with Hoopa again, though it is unlikely to KO this Talonflame with anything Dillon could have drawn. So Disable is decent here, but stopping Talonflame from attacking on the next turn won't do much for Dillon. Talonflame has free retreat, and Rotom, if a stadium is found, can just take the knockout onto this Sableye. And a stadium is top deck, that Parallel City. Dillon going to have to get rid of the Zorua that was just benched. Dillon's board looking a little more stable now that Guzzlord and Spiritomb have entered play. And since this stadium was found on Theia's side, she will be taking the knockout onto this Sableye with that Rotom. It's a Colress for 6. Lugia found and benched. And now Theia is getting ahead in energy attachments, is going to be able to continue powering up the other Pokemon on her board. Zooming Draw from Dodrio used to draw one, and powerful Colorless energy down onto that Lugia. Here we see the retreat into the Fan Rotom for that Assault Landing attack to deal 70 and knock out that Sableye. Now onto Dillon's side. Gonna trade away that Zoroark. Floatstone onto the Guzzlord so it does not get trapped. Though usually you want to keep, it's possible you might want to keep that tool spot on the Guzzlord available for a Dark Claw in the future, because being capped at 120 damage limits you a little bit. That Lugia would not die to a Guzzlord attack without a damage modifier. But Teammates is found, and Beast Ring is being eyed up. Is allowed to be used this turn since Theia has 4 prizes remaining. Dillon could fully power up that Guzzlord and take 2 prizes on this Rotom. Yeah, Dillon's going to take the Beast Ring. Searching the deck. Is shuffling, though, so wonder if he is going to play it right now. Dark City Stadium to counter the Parallel City, giving his basic Dark Pokemon free retreat. Building Spite on Spiritomb to increase its damage output, and then Trainer's Mail played. Normally, if Trainer's Mail was already in hand, it probably is correct to play Trainer's Mail before the Teammates, because since Teammates can grab any 2 cards, say you need a 3-piece combo, Trainer's Mail may find you one of those pieces, and then you're free to grab a 3rd card of your choosing. But it's just an attachment to Spiritomb, and it is doing enough damage to knock out this Rotom, but Dillon Teammates for 2 cards that he ended up not playing at all. That is asking for a Marnie or an Iono to reset that hand, and then that Teammates goes to waste. So risky position for Dillon. I wonder if there just wasn't enough dark energy in the deck, unfortunately. Maybe didn't get a good count earlier in the game to know what resources were available. So that is a bit unfortunate. That Trainer's Mail may have had to hit a Dark Patch or something like that, or an Ordinary Rod to put back some energy into the deck. So Dillon is keeping pace, and since Teammates is played on Theia's side, the hand is not going to get reset, so that Beast Ring can be played on the following turn. Old Amber is benched. It evolves into a Aerodactyl. It is a different Aerodactyl than Theia played last time. It is the new 151 Aerodactyl. But with that free retreat on Talonflame and attach on Dodrio, gonna preserve the high damage output of Talonflame to take the knockout with this Dodrio on Spiritomb. And Field Blower comes down, discarding the Stadium and the Floatstone. And Ballistic Beak takes the knockout. Theia going down to 3 prizes, Dillon at 4, but Beast Ring active and in the hand for Dillon. We see Sneasel getting benched and Pokegear being played. Raihan is the choice there for Dillon. Is going to play it right now to put an energy from the discard onto the Guzzlord. Able to search the deck for any card. That Rescue Stretcher is picked there to get back one of his attackers from the discard pile. Going to choose that Spiritomb. Has a very high damage output once it gets enough damage counters on it. And here we go, Beast Ring. Just for a single energy. That's all he needs after the Raihan. And with the twin energy attached, Red Banquet will be able to knock out this Dodrio and take 2 prizes. Dillon now moves into the lead. Theia with 3 prizes remaining Dillon just needs to find 2 more attacks, 2 more knockouts to win this game and potentially get his first badge. But Theia has the Iono to set Dillon to only 2 cards in hand, no other energies besides this Guzzlord in play, and a Spiritomb that only has 1 damage counter on it. It is not the best position for Dillon now, depending on what he can draw off of those 2 cards and the Liepard. That Aerodactyl did come into play and an energy attached to it. Capture energy was attached. The deck must be shuffled even if they had chose to not find anything. So that is a slight error, but probably won't change the game much. But when capture is played, you have to shuffle. Since Iono was played especially, reordering the deck is important. So something to keep in mind. You can't just choose to not use capture energy for all you players out there. Dillon does have Ordinary Rod, is going to put back Guzzlord and a couple energy. I think Hoopa was one of the choices. But that is before trade. So drawing into an energy and drawing into Guzzlord off of trade would be bad. So Ordinary Rod probably better to be played after the trade. Now you're just clogging your deck of things you might not want to find off of these next 2 cards. We're going to see a trade off the Pal Pad, discarding the Pal Pad, drawing 2, needing a supporter. A double Colorless was found, and I believe a Colress's Experiment was found. Versus Seeker is in hand too, though. We could see Raihan to get an energy, as well as find something to... I'm not sure exactly what Dillon needs here. Hustle Belt was discarded, so Spiritomb is a kind of capped at the moment. Teammates is going to be the grab off of Versus Seeker, and I believe I saw Pokestop there. Unique build from Dillon to play Pokestop and maybe heavier item counts. I did see Trekking Shoes earlier. And normally I'd say instead of rolling the dice on Pokestop, and you can see Dillon only finds 1 card, just grab the card you need off the teammates because odds are not in your favor. But I understand the choice here. Dillon may be needing more than just 2 pieces to get back in this game at this point. So Pokestop can maybe find the cards, maybe find a few items that Dillon could potentially use. And we see that Dillon has to go in with the Weavile, and Theia actually has no abilities in play right now. So Evil Admonition would do 0. Not something you see super often from a colorless deck, having no abilities in play. But Dillon hoping to put this Talonflame to sleep, but it does wake up. And now Theia is in the driver's seat, only to take 2 more knockouts, and has quite a few support Pokemon already being powered up in Lugia and in Aerodactyl. Going to Versus Seeker for Cynthia and Caitlin to get back teammates and draw a couple more cards. And with the low HP on Weavile, this Talonflame can take a knockout even without the 2 retreat cost extra damage. Featherball being played, gonna grab that Swanna. Dillon looking at his hand. Doesn't think there's an out, unfortunately. Dillon gonna concede. And that means Theia is victorious with the new and improved Bird deck. Check out the deck list in the description of the video. It is a really cool deck. I do think it has some strong plays and potential. Great job to both players, and see you next week.